You better hurry up and get your NECA Godzilla figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description, because they're soon going to be gone forever. Pokemon, Kaiju, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It's Steven here, and today I'm bringing you another NECA Godzilla review. And if you haven't been paying attention during the stay-at-home Cyber Kaiju event that is going on at the time of this upload, yeah, it's a back-to-back premiere with the Godzilla 1989 they just released. Today we're going to be taking a look at NECA's Godzilla 2003 from Tokyo, SOS. This is going to be one of the last figures that NECA makes of Godzilla, period, of the licensed property, because they just announced they are done. We have this one, Bio Goji, the Biolante Bio Goji, and then we have the Kiryu Hyper Mazer Blast Mecha Godzilla Yellow and Blue Jolly Rancher Kiryu Goji coming out soon. But anyway, we're focusing on the one Godzilla that has a nice battle scar on the chest. Now, a lot of folks have been looking forward to this one because though there is the Monster Arts Kiryu Goji, it is a completely different design. Though it's not completely different, but you do have to take it for what it is because they're from two different movies with unique differences. Anyway, is this one going to be worth it? Because it's only going to be about $25 compared to another similar figure on the market that's going to be more than $80. Let's take a look to see whether or not Kiryu Goji here is worth adding into your collection. From the promo pictures, I did have to say that this one did look a little bit off. I don't think they quite nailed the head sculpt in the promo pictures, and having it in hand, there are just some angles where it's perfect, and I don't think they could have done a better job, whereas other angles, the head is too wide, and the face looks a little too smushed. It's definitely depending on how you catch this figure while it is on the shelf. Otherwise, in regards to proportions, if you take a look at the torso leading into the hip area, it does kind of look like it smooths in and then it goes wide and then it goes in and out and in and out. So they could have done a better job presenting it that way. And it does kind of look like he's got some big old rubber feet. Definitely could be a little bit better there, but I guess that's to help with the articulation a little bit just because of how it had to be sculpted. But otherwise, in terms of the actual details, in terms of the paint application, yeah, I gotta hand it to NECA here. This is a rather nice looking figure. Yep, so we do have a couple of issues with proportions, which, yeah, your mileage may vary. Some folks really do find that to be a huge deterrent, and that's gonna completely turn them away from this figure. While other folks, they may see it and go, yeah, that's not too bad. It's there, but I'm okay with it. So yeah, your mileage may vary. One of the things that I think is really interesting here for this figure, though, is if you take a look at the battle scar on the chest left from Kiryu from the first movie, is that we'll get into articulation here in a little bit, but a top portion of the scar is actually on a completely different part of the sculpt that does move around when that piece moves, so that's pretty interesting. The dry brushing that's used on the figure really does enhance the detail in every inch of the figure that it is used, so you can really appreciate all the details, and not to make mention of the dorsal plates here at all, because we're going to get to those in a second. It really does seem like NECA was intent here on bringing out the finer details so this way you could appreciate them. So I said we're not going to talk about the dorsal plates. Now we are. Yep, they're great. We actually have a mixture of colors here. It looks like they used not only an ivory color, but a white color as well to really make the dorsal plates look different from one another. They are distinguished. And not only that, but you can see that there's different paint used on different parts of the plates as well. It's not like some of their other figures where they just kind of sort of masked off an area and just painted that. It actually looks like some effort was used here. All in all, Kiryu Goji here is definitely going to be, well, hit or miss for some folks. Some are going to love it, some are going to hate it, but I'm kind of in the middle. I like it. I think it looks good with some reasonable criticisms. Kiryu Goji's articulation, wow. We've got some weird stuff going on here, and hopefully he frames just fine. So what do we have? Well, the jaw's on a hinge, so it opens and closes. Not super wide, but wide enough, just so this way he can roar. And the head is actually on a very well-functioning ball joint, so this way we can move him to look up, down, left, right, side to side. It's all looking very, very nice. Very good, very good. Then we have this neck section here, which is on a ball joint. So let me try to isolate this here. So as you can see, we can spin this around, have him look down and up. So that is pretty cool. And then also with this ball joint, you can get him to kind of do one of those. You kind of know what I'm talking about. You can situate it so this way he can look directly up. But anyway, a lot of folks were thinking that the arms were going to be articulated at this part here. Well, you probably already saw this, so I'll go ahead and exaggerate this by spinning this part. No, the shoulders are still actually in the body by the chest, so they still have your basic swivel hinge combo, right? Or no, it's a ball joint, it looks like. Yep, it's a true blue ball joint. So the arms are going to be able to move freely, but those are covered up by sort of the sleeve that's here. And you may notice all that gunk coming directly from Godzilla there. So, yay. But anyway, that's how the shoulders are articulated. Elbow hinge with a swivel. Wrist swivel with a hinge. Pingor hinges. We do have a proper ab crunch there. Get some nice movement. Ball jointed hips. Very stiff knees that have a hinge and a swivel. We do also have ball jointed feet for ankle rockers, so that's pretty good. Not a whole lot of movement there, but it is what it is. And then we get a nice tail, which likes to pop off on mine. That seems to be a quality control issue on a lot of these Godzillas here. And then we have several ball joints that lead up to a tail tip here, which does have bendy wire, as you can see. So yes, so the articulation here for Kiryugoji, it is pretty solid. You can get them in lots of fun poses, lots of classic Kiryugoji poses, so that's fun. So if you have a Kiryu that's big enough, maybe the 8-inch Mechagodzilla from Bandai would be a nice one to square off here, because as you're going to see coming up in a minute, Monster Arts doesn't fit too well with it. Yeah. So the articulation is good. So, speaking of that, let's go ahead and move right on over to the size comparison with the Biogoji, which was released alongside this guy. Yes. So, as you can see, this is a big Godzilla. Yes, indeed. Yes, he is. Ooh, and he doesn't match up with the Monster Arts Kiryu, which a lot of folks were hoping that this would happen, but unfortunately, that is not the case. So, if you're planning on that, rest in peace, woo-boo. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. This is going to be different than the Monster Arts Kiryugoji released, because that was 2002. This is 2003. And with that being said, there are design changes, most notably the scar in the chest. Therefore, I would say this is definitely worth the purchase if you want the different unique suits used throughout the years for Godzilla. And since this is an entirely unique design and doesn't necessarily fight for the same Kiryugoji spot on the shelf, I don't know about a figure fight. But at the end of the day, for about 25 or so bucks, yeah, I'd say they did a pretty good job. Some issues with proportions, articulation maybe could have been engineered a little better, but hey, if you're a fan of Kiryugoji, you'd be kind of a fool to pass this one up. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.